the area. So there's still a lot for us to do. And by so doing, you end up having all sorts of buildings in different areas. But I think there's also a positive aspect now where certain areas, by default of the people who live in those areas, certain type of structures are built. That doesn't negate the fact that it still needed to be planned properly. But in doing so, I think the mental aspect is what some of us are calling, because we continue to build concrete jungles around us rather than smart and friendly buildings by using alternative materials. A bag of cement now is 8 Ghana cedis. Yeah, 108 Ghana cedis. That's a lot of money for most people. If we have alternative materials that you can save more than 4, hydrofoam, compressed air blocks, that. Why? We need these conversations we need to have with policymakers and implementers.
Thank you, Chief. If you've just joined us, social media platforms, Ghana Corporation Live, on YouTube, you may also be joining us on in the north region of Ghana, Radio Savannah 91.3 FM. This is a GBC and the Embassy of Germany in Accra collaboration. Climate Talks is what we are calling it. The first train stopped in Wa. We talked about the impact of climate change on agriculture. This train in Tamale is talking about urban spaces and how we can build climate resilient buildings. How do we incorporate climate thoughts and ideas in our building architecture? At the panel, I've been doing this with Professor Brahim Abbas, the immediate past Vice Chancellor of Tamale Technical University, Tatu. Chief Sintaro Mahama is the Chief of Sakoya. He's also a CEO of Tibza Integrated Farms. And Dr. Nazia Ibrahim is a lecturer at the Faculty of Communication and Cultural Studies, UDS. And in our audience, students from secondary and tertiary education and our partners right here at GBC, UDS, and all of you gathered here. We'll take a quick musical break. When we return, we'll continue our conversations. It's important for us to understand where we are and what more we can do to make sure that we get these buildings up and running in a sustainable manner. So this is Climate Talks. Just take a breather. We'll be back soon.
Let's hear it louder, because we done so well. The attentiveness of 1 hour is so keen. I was just tired. 1 hour, we were so keen in listening. We have the musician here to give us a short break, and then we'll allow you to also come in short points. And perhaps you can even spread it so that we get them addressed for you, even if not immediately, to put it on the side and get all our panelists addressing the issues for you. Applaud yourselves once again. Look at that. I don't know whether you know how to sing. I've never tried it in my life because my voice is completely out of sync anytime I have to go there.
It depends on the type of song you want me to sing.
Maybe you sing better.
If it is in Chinese, excellent.
Okay. Can you try that one for us?
Are you ready to hear me sing in Chinese? See your problem.
Thank you very much. Where's our musician? Getting closer to this place? Yes. So we are setting up. As a setup, we just want to ask one or two of you, when we are addressing our issues and concerns, we want to see if we can give them in 5 seconds. Short and crisp. Short and crisp, as you are saying. So are we ready with the music? They are coming. So you can be trying the big questions as you wrap up, short and crisp. The moment you are going beyond it, what we try to do is that we come in snappy and then we are off. So please, let me see my hand. Quickly those who have their questions and concerns to be addressed. Okay. Yes. Good. But we are saying so that we are taking full advantage of this. So please, you move forward.
Okay. So, hello. So, a quick one. Who is? I don't even know. The music. Okay. Okay. Good afternoon. So, I have a very quick one. I enjoyed the conversation about climate smart cities and all of that. And I liked when Prof mentioned that we could start by going back to the basics, like using what is available, what is affordable for our homes. My worry, however, is we've seen how sometimes people say, oh, when we talk about sustainability, preservation, then we pick things that are affordable for the majority of the populace and then turn it to something that they cannot afford anymore. So my question is, what are some of the things we can put in place to ensure that in our bid for climate smart cities and all of that, we do not take things that are affordable for like the 80% and make it for only the 1%? Because case in point, how many people around Damango can sleep in Zaina Lodge? Northern Ghana, let's even leave Damango. Northern Ghana, how many people in Northern Ghana can comfortably walk into Zaina Lodge, pay and sleep in there? But these MAD we are talking about, these thatch roofs that we are talking about, that is what a lot of people use in building their homes. They may not be all prim and proper or cute, but that is what serves as home for a lot of people. So if we are preaching this and more people be like, oh, nice, I think that we should be using MAD and thatch, I foresee the prices going higher. And seeing the 1% or the 3% of the country being able to afford it. So what steps are we putting in place to ensure that in as much as we are looking at climate smart solutions, it does not affect the majority of people? Thank you.
I think Doc wants to have.
Thank you. Okay, so, Madam, I share your concern. So this is something that I've also thought about. And like I said, I think everybody should be an active citizen, like you said. In Ghana, the blueprint for making decisions is through the political system. Am I lying? Politics. So typically, there's no regulation in Ghana half of the time. My experience with other countries is sometimes there's even a measurement device for tomatoes. So you can't be cheated. Everywhere is like that. If you go and you're buying, they put it, they measure, they give you. So you don't have deviations or variations where you can go somewhere and then somebody is cheating you. So here we have the laws, but the regulation is the problem. So how do people like you make a difference? I don't know if you've thought about getting into politics, you know, because that's the main way you can get people to listen to you in Ghana, by becoming whoever at the head. And the leadership structure seems to be a bit broken. That is why there's no regulation and things are happening the way they are happening. And the other thing I mentioned was the acquired taste. These Zina Lodge and touch things are, well, my experience, more attractive to Westerners and outsiders who come here. Like we said, if they see you roofing your house with thatch and the straw in Ghana here, people will make fun of you. It's now that we are waking up and people are a bit more conscious. Let me put it that way. People are a bit more conscious now and they are appreciating the indigenous technology. So I think that some of these questions, we shouldn't throw them to somebody. You yourself, especially the students, what are you doing in your own space to make sure that you don't become a cheat in Ghana? Ghanaians, I always say, like cheating each other. Nobody is the problem. We are the problem. This thing, they will know that it's 5 Ghana and they'll sell it to you at 30 Ghana. Even yellow, you pick from here to here. When they hear you don't speak the Ghana, they start asking for 60 Ghana from you. And you are the person knows that that is not the truth. You see, so there should be regulation. If every yellow driver knows that, sometimes they know, but they'll break it and then nobody does anything about it. So how do we get to the point where in Ghana the regulation stands, it sticks, there's consequences for people's actions. If you don't do the right thing, then you are going to be held accountable. That's why I'm saying that in some of the countries we see and call them developed, the discipline is just the difference. You know, the discipline, people do things that they are supposed to do. It's not that it's perfect, but you are forced, the system forces you to do the right thing. So how do we get to that point in Ghana? And the students, stop sleeping. Those of you sleeping, please wake up. If you are tired, we are all tired. Just pay attention a little bit and then we are done and we are going. Please stop sleeping.
Chief, I wonder if you have anything to add.
Yes.
About attitudes and keeping costs down.
Yeah.
One of the ways, if I may. And I've heard Ibrahim, the artist, talk about reusing things that are old. Ibrahim is a maverick character. I always find something, and I say this with a lot of respect, something very odd about him. He never lets anything go to waste. If you look around the room, you find that there are old cement papers still sitting here. Every bag of cement that he has used in putting up this place, he has kept it. He thinks that keeping it as a piece of art means that we don't burn it, because that's how we dispose of paper. We burn it, it goes back into the environment. He's keeping it here, and I have a strong feeling that he'll find some other use for it other than just stacking them up as cement paper. When he collected the shoe boxes, and in the other room, the other exhibition, you find all these shoe shine boxes stacked on top of each other. If they were not in use, they would end up as fuel, maybe, in Hajia Memuna's kitchen. If you know a Hajia Memuna, she's not the one I'm talking about. It's another Hajia Memuna I know in Accra. Okay. If we don't burn those shoe shine boxes, what would we do with them? So his idea is repurpose old things. Find new ways of using old things. And that's why what Prof said about the 3D printing, I find it quite fascinating. We have people using plastic, the waste that we all complain about, converting plastic into other uses. They are making, furniture for parks and gardens using plastics that they've collected from some of our water bodies. It's some of these conversations that we need to have. If you want to have chairs in this room, for example, why are we sitting on mats on the floor? Because sitting on the floor means that we have not cut down any tree to make a chair for us to sit on. Those are the ideas we want to keep in our mind. Can you have a house, a living room without furniture, for example? And what would that look like? It would look like this. Like this Parliament of Ghosts, which is a replica of the one that Ibrahim Mahama saw in Manchester in the UK. So instead of having chairs and cutting down the trees to make the chairs, can we have a setup like this, which does not use trees, which does not mean we need to cut them down? Those are some of the conversations we want to be having. So a key question that you've asked, I think we should keep that in mind. There are stuff that only us can afford. And it's important we protect it so that when the woke people decide that it's the new thing, orange is the new black, suddenly orange things become expensive. So I'm with you on that score. I think we should applaud the lady for her question. I believe that our musician is ready to give us that entertainment, because Doc is seeing all her students who are sleeping. We are writing down the names of those people. So we just want to wake up, stretch our legs for a bit, and the gentleman will help us with a musical performance. Put your hands together for him as he comes.
Alhaji ya Musa, annabi Ibrahim Musa, na wuce da Musa. hold on, man. Actually, maybe could can check out for he. The Nanamela Bambichongo, the Banoya Bambichongo. Kanachi, English our colleagues, ma. I can see my colleagues here. Damasco Day in the house, the Sec Day in the house, Nobisco Day in the house. Yeah, for you guys coming out to support this program, I want you to sing along with me for the song that is coming next. This song is dedicated to you guys because you guys are looking so beautiful, and I want to drop a beautiful song for you guys. So, Jessaga, as you can see, your boy is ready. Drop that song, let's go. It's a dedicated song for everybody that came out to support this our program, yeah? Listen, see, I dream of also to check out the Torah, sing along, sing along. Let's go! Let's go! Sing 1, 2, 3, everybody go! Sing! Ayon lempom mama, let's go. Hold your pose, yeah. Baba Selma, get up, man, get up. Let's go. Baba Selma, Baba Nyama, Shepa, Saranga, Jodina, Zinla, Familia, Anasuna, Nabila, Isaac, for the man, Yadura, what is that? Let's go! 1, 2, 3, everybody go! Sing! Hold on, man, hold on. I hope you guys enjoyed the song, yeah? Yeah, so before I leave the stage, another dedicated song for you guys here. DJ Saka. Let's go! I see you grab your command. Wait till my shell come shake a chop. Let's go! I was telling my God, I'm saying, I'm gonna go, baby. God, I'm saying, one try, I'm gonna get a couple of days. God, I'm saying, I was telling my God, I'm saying, one try, I'm gonna get down, I didn't play my baby. Only over him, over Pazzi, Nabu, Sophie, my baby girl, be 100 what you want me for the say, she the rub of money. I can't try, I can't, Makia, wait, yeah, God, I'm saying. Let's send me the money direct. Yeah. Yeah, but I know you guys are doing all well, and I know you guys are going to get brighter future in the future, yeah? So you guys have to respect whoever they are front, or maybe like any teacher or our senior tells us something, we have to take the advice and then, so that we can be the future, yeah? Yeah, so I just want to say thanks for coming out, and then I go by the name Wishal Official, and I'm a student of KNUST, and I know you guys too are going there soon, yeah? Yeah, I pray for you guys, yeah. Thank you so much, my chief. Yeah, thanks for coming too. I go by the name Wishal Official, thanks, sir.
Welcome back to Climate Talks. This is the Tamale BBC partnering the Embassy of Germany in Accra to bring you this conversation on places in climate change, the role of stakeholders. Our Q&As will be, people have questions still. We'll have to take them very quickly. 3 hands. Kindly make your way to the front here. I see a 4th. Make your way to the front and I'll take those questions very quickly. Of you, Prof. We have a building code. Do we have an idea what the code says about sustainability in terms of climate change? Are we bound by any laws to ensure that some of these conversations that we are having, we actually have to do them? Are we bound by law to do some of those things?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Ghana does have a building code. I was at Ghana Standard Committee, and the building code is this thick. But I'm going to hazard a guess. The assemblies do not know what's in it. Okay, so as a nation, several times, the Director General of GSA to actually try and hold seminars for local authorities on the building code, so that they do know what they are regulating at their community level. Right now, code doesn't deal much on sustainability, but you can always talk when it comes to sustainability in terms of the materials that are recommended for construction of buildings. In fact, we're talking about bricks. They do cover that. Obviously, they do cover timber, they do cover steel, they do cover concrete. And so it's a whole gamut of things, but it doesn't force anybody to build sustainably. In fact, what is more important in building code is to build safely. So it's more of a safety than basically climate smart construction. It is important that every university, and I think at TATU, in fact, we had a conversation on this, that everything we teach in the classroom, especially when it comes to building technology, civil engineering, should be based on that building code. The students have to know about the building code. We still, in most of our engineering classes, still teach BS or Eurocodes. In fact, I appreciate that we do have a building code in Ghana. And so I'm going to put this as a challenge to a lot of the professors here. Okay, let's try to bring indigenous into our classrooms. I know, maybe when you went to school, maybe you went to school in, she went in China, I went in Canada, he went in Canada, let me see somebody else. Who did in UK. And so the tendency is when we come back, we teach what we were taught. right? But what we are taught was for a different community. Let's now try to teach for our own community. And so the Ghana Building Code, granted, it is borrowed a little bit from here and there, but at least they have made it Ghanaian. So we should teach the Ghana Building Code. As to, and like I said, it's a lot about safety and not about climate smart, but we can make it climate smart. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Alfred Bua from Tamale Senior High. Thanks for this opportunity. We are all thinking about building climate, making sure that we pay attention to change. But then every one of us would want to put up houses that are climate friendly. But then how about our security? Because if I want to put up a house and wouldn't put a wall, that will not limit the amount of air that enters my house. And I don't put walls. Who takes care of me when the thieves attack? We are in our homes. If I touch my house and I'm not at home, and my little child uses my gas, when the fire burns, how fast will the fire service come? What will be my fate? So what are we putting in place to take care of these things? The other thing is a suggestion. I believe that we are copying so much without paying attention to culture and our social environment. We used to have round houses where you have thatch on top. So most of the rooms were cool during the warm and normal during the raining season. Now we have somebody who wants to, develop the school. The person comes off all their thatch, places them with zinc and other things. Now, the numbers in the schools are increasing. So because of the war, a room that contains accommodates 20 students. Anytime we are building for schools and institutions, we are interested in putting up the buildings. We are not thinking about how that building is going to affect the students that are going to occupy. So we are just building. We are not actually looking for the environment or whatever. Thank you very much.
My name is Hadi Shahadu, and I teach at the Faculty of Communication and Media Studies, UDS. I think what we have discussed so far has been about individual initiatives that we need to take in terms of building our houses. We haven't yet looked at what about the collective level, because individuals making small will take a long time for us to see any impact. Looking at our land planning in Tamale, when you look, you see that a full land, maybe 100 by 100, is occupied by 3 rooms house, and that takes over the entire kind of land, and that's going to stay that way for a very long time. Can't we, in terms of city planning, or think about building high structures? A plot that could take just 3 rooms can actually house 100 families, so that we conserve the land. How many farmers have lost their jobs because somebody has to come and put up a 3 rooms somewhere else that he's not probably going to use for the next 5-10 years? And so I don't know, we should start to think about the way we structure our houses in Tamale. We can build quite a lot of families, and that providing utilities such as electricity and roads easier than when you look at all across maybe 1,000-acre land, and there's no electricity, there's no water, there's no. So I'm thinking that we should begin to look into this, and I wonder where the chiefs come in, where Ghana Housing Corporation come in, where the Metro Assembly comes, where maybe Ministry of Rural Government. I think we should think about that. Thank you.
Yeah. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Fataya Zakari, Advocacy and Engagement Officer on the Guada project. My question is to Chief. I want to know, can the traditional authorities start the Smart City initiative with local materials, and how can we start the conversation around that? My second is a request. We work with people in 4 districts, and that's the Tolong, Kumbungu, Savlugu, and Nanton. So I want to know, we have these young women who have finished senior high, and they are doing so well in the climate space, but they have a challenge. Anything that has to do with climate opportunity, there's a criteria which they don't fall. How can Prof, you help these girls? They are doing. What's the criteria? So either you have a degree or you've done something magnificent, but they are young farmers, women in agriculture. They are developing so many things, but because they don't have that platform, they are left behind just because they're in the rural areas. So how can you help us with the mentorship and coaching? See you with that. And also, the Chief, we have these young people too. How you were talking about how you've capacitated 1,000 young people from this, because apart from pharmacies, we don't have anything to do. They can also further their studies because of where they find themselves. How do we benefit from your capacity building training? Thank you.
My name is Alasan Abdulbasis from Tamil Technical University. My question is, how does climate change affect the buying and selling of harvested crop? I want to know. Harvested crop, yes.
For me, just Chief. In actual fact, want to share with everybody here because we have the brain, the center of everything on earth. And we can see what my Honorable Chief was saying here. That, I mean, Madame herself said that, can't the government do something to see to it that enforcement, planning can be done? Modesty of, what do we call it? Climate change. When there is a change, there is the need for us to plant trees, to do so many things that will let the change sustain and benefit the entire social organism. So now, look at my brain with that short-sightedness. I just felt that there was a need for me to, I started doing something in my village here. I started doing something. I have my palace. When you go to my palace, you will even see it. Some mango trees got dried. I started planting mango trees to see how they can go with the climate. They can go well. And I did the same in my house at Jishona. I planted same. Those ones over there yielded, and I took the mango. And here, my people started taking the mango plantation. And so some of the trees, you might have seen them. You might have seen them. Some of them got dried. I don't understand how to uproot them. I didn't want anybody to see how trees were being dried. Because I was thinking that because the lights passed through, it was so. But I think that's a reasonable attitude. What you studied in Canada, what you studied in China, what my brother had and held to portray, to throw out to us to benefit, we must make some force behind it. The government should hear them cry. They should share with them authority of doing effective moves to bring about climate development and enlightenment, not just change. When climate is there, is going astray, there are a lot of ways to stop them from destroying human beings. We call something human magnanimity and regard. When there is human magnanimity and regard, we don't go astray. And that is the essence of studying carefully, understanding and doing right all the time. So for me, I am on my knees begging you, get up and struggle. Madam, I like the way you like taking water and chini. You should cheat you. You should take more than necessary. Let's see how we can get with our cheap brains, talk about things for the benefit of everybody. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdurazak Tolahatu from Tamale Islamic Science Senior High, and my question is, how countries help to control the climate crisis?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Smith Mahama. I teach at the Tamale Technical University with the Faculty of Agriculture and Natural Resources. I'm also a pastor. Somewhere this year, I charged my church that we're going to plant 25 trees, and I see one of my church members here. We've been able to, beyond planting the trees, like a chief said, we owe it a duty and a responsibility to ensure that they grow. So deliberately, we are taking care of the trees. I humorously one day said after my sermon that I was going to name the trees pastors and elders of my church, just so that in the tree, so that with time. I think we've suggested that grow trees, just so that we're able to control or better still mitigate the effects of the climate change that we're having to face today. But I have a few points to make, quite apart from this. First amongst them is the issue of the fact that most of us have the capital and ability to build houses. Now we're talking about building smart spaces and smart cities. And so you go to people's house, beautiful house, yet every foot square of land you see there is either plastered, there is pavement blocks, or there is some sort of a tile. The level of sophistication that we want as a people is one of the greatest contributions to why we don't have smart cities, because we have the money and want to put tiles on the ground, even in our compounds, and we don't plant trees. I am also asking, is the time right that we begin to have conversations around cloud seeding? In cloud seeding, we talk about the fact that there is a possibility of engineering rain. As early as 1960, America started it. 1940s. In 1960, Israel did the same. In 1991, United Arab Emirates. And as we talk right now, India is also doing it. There is a way we can engineer rain as a mitigation factor against drought, and just so that it's a stopgap measure, while we do best practices to ensure that in the near future we reverse, we mitigate what is happening currently. So maybe I think the time is now we should begin to talk about cloud seeding and see if that is also possible. I just found out a while ago that $500,000 US is enough to do such a project even in Ghana and Africa. So maybe stakeholders and people that have loud voices could start this conversation, and so we see how it goes. Thank you.
Not to waste your time. I've been following the conversation, and one thing I've noticed is that we lack the synergy between academia, industry, and policy. Most of the things we are talking about, academia have them on their shelves. The solutions are on the shelves. Most of our lecturers are breaking through, even in the international scenes. But after doing the work, you don't get anybody pushing it. So I love the question that was posed: who should push for this policy that has to do with climate smart planning? I think our chiefs have the authority. It's about time we start thinking of context-specific designs of our building, and that is what we are talking about here. We cannot put the same structure in the southern here, because the tradition had even delineate. We have it from our tradition. Our culture is different. Our climate is different. Most of the research, as we are talking about, Dr. Nadia mentioned that we should be thinking of using our waste products. We have done a lot of research. Some are exhibited here. We've produced blocks from plastic materials. One of our students is working on using sludge from shea butter to produce briquettes for energy in the household. There are a lot of things that has been proposed by academia. So I always keep asking myself, do we have solutions to our? And then there's our building code. Yes, of course, we don't have smart building code. Can we revise it? We can incorporate climate smart authority
as if breaks into my mud house, how safe am I? Is it safe for me to use my gas in if my children are the ones doing the cooking? I'm hearing reports that we even import some of these materials we are supposed to even have locally. So touch, for example, is imported. And I find that very worrying. So how affordable, again, the issue of affordability comes to bear here. Other questions about keeping the cost down. Town planning in Tamale, can we have high rates? Is it possible? Can the traditional authority guarantee that they will spearhead, they will lead some of these smart city initiatives? So, for example, Chief can help us understand, would you be willing to start an initiative like that in your community? Doc, a question about and how those with low education levels can benefit from some of the opportunities, and then capacity building for young people. How can the young people also benefit? Harvested crop, the effect of climate change on harvested crop was also asked. Cloud seeding, the suggestions that you all made, I think they've been well noted. This will go around just once. Every one of you on the panel will have the opportunity to speak one last time. Any of the issues that have been addressed, so that we wrap up from this conversation. I'll start with you, Prof. Which ones would you want to tackle first?
Those were a lot of very, very good questions and comments. Just so that we're on the same page. When we talk about smart buildings, basically, obviously, security has to be one of them. And I think the person who asked the question was, in fact, thinking when I said you don't put walls or the walls become windbreaks. Say these blocks. Breeze blocks, just like this. They allow some airflow, basically, so they can climb it. So you put electricity up over top. There are various ways you can design to make sure that your building is still smart. I do want to address one of the ladies talking about the hindrance to development or progress because of lack of education. Now, if you look at the framework for basically it starts from very, very low level to HND level, and if we really take it, you can go all the way to a doctor of that framework. There is something called recognition experience. If the ladies have some prior experience, basically they need to either go to a technical institute or to a technical university, depending on at what the level they think they are at, and they can be assessed and placed. Okay. We always say we have the policies, but someone was saying, how about the implementation of those policies? So the Ghana TVET framework does allow for the recognition of prior experience, and they should be exploring that option. The other question, basically, about touch is yes, it's also a casualty of climate change, right? Today, I don't know what the issue is, but touch is very, very difficult to get. Bush burning is one of it, because we don't allow them to mature and dry, and we will burn them before anything happens. climate change has affected so much. Even in fact, we are losing so many species of animals. Okay, you used to drive from Tamale to Accra and you'll have deer cross the road, rabbits cross the road, whatever you have cross the road. I bet you today from Tamale to Accra, you don't even see, well, you see the goats, but those are domesticated. You don't see any wildlife crossing the road, and that's all because of climate change. And we have to be smart about it. We have to basically try to design our cities from building a century. Here, okay. So I don't know. We are going back to done a little. No. Greatest there. What problem? Many stories. The water up there. Okay, so create so many problems. Solutions themselves. If you want the real estate is very there, then you'll have, but into just or you are they don't know why in North America also think is the problem. Is the thing that all over the world. I don't see at our level of development. About the gas, it's all about. Okay, they said safety guidelines. Even and age kids play with particularly because I think I've had, so I'll
diploma is just a paper, or you don't agree? Do with it, that is the issue. So if you just it shouldn't really count. And trained to technologies, ones or then to that. We know how to make money. So ties you have. Even you can further here. It's not easy anyway. It's difficult to make money. You see. So learn to monetize what you have. I said in 15 years. By 15 years that skilled, you should be an active, engaging member of society. The students, how many of you here are working on? Anybody? Are you involved in your activities? And so learn to monetize your, learn to do you making money to fend for, rely on your parents. You should be sometimes kids, but we are not. Already engaged in your farming or whatever, learn how to monetize it. So if you don't even get scholarship because poverty is used for you not to go to school, poverty is never for you to say that you didn't have money. Secondary school I went to, we did flashlight to learn. So it is not an excuse for you to have electricity. Didn't have something that you can't get an education. Okay, so what you have to go to KFC and get a job, please do that. Okay, go there. If there's a room, they will employ. Think you can do the air. So at don't see challenges and obstacles. See, my secondary school, I never been the but and then you pass. So it's not easy anywhere. Even in Europe, saying people. Okay, chief.
It's gonna when the it reminded me level who is supposed to do what in we plan. We also have the Ghana and finally climate policies. About spoke about story that can be emulated by even how to have train and have the licensed female tractor operations in the zone. Train young children, the speak 60 agronomy and 30 operations and management. Level 2, which the business, the first private in North. So there's landscape, and we know there as we speak, all 60 farmers learning is to ensure that what they learned only about 10% theory, 80-90% practical. Actually implement that. And Sir Abbas testimony to have actually and an initiative I started working on chemical doing it for is control. Culture. You know,
see of GBC, I'm sure you would agree, a very responsive for me that build a school, a hospital, put it on the that we are. Ladies and gentlemen, let's appreciate Prof for his comment here. Chief Sentaro Mahama is the Chief of Sakoya and the Mion District and CEO of Tibza Integrated Farms, the first privately owned TVET institution in the northern part of Ghana, the Tibza Agribusiness Technical and Vocational Training Institute. A round of applause for our royal at the panel, on the panel. And of course, Dr. Nazia Ibrahim, a lecturer at the Faculty of Communication and Cultural Studies at the UDS, also joining our conversation. All the questions and the support that you are looking for young people, young women. She's mentored hundreds across the country and beyond, and she will be available after the program to take some of your questions, and you can get her contact so you can support the people that you also talked about. Thank you so much for making this program a success. Ghana Broadcasting Corporation is doing this climate talks with the Embassy of Germany in Accra. We've moved the train from Wa to Tamale. And the next stop, we will be in Kumasi with another of our series in climate talks. So watch out for us. Kumasi will be coming to you next. And watch out for us, Takwa, watch out Takrade, watch out Accra, because we'll be in your cities as well with climate talks. I am Thelma Taki. Thank you for being a part of this segment of the program. I'll hand over now back to Kinsley and Mutala to continue with the rest of the program.
Oh, please let's hear the appreciation in a louder tone. Thank you. We are so happy. Yes.
I nearly said GBC. We have the men.
Okay.
Then I remembered Thelma is a woman.
Okay.
Let's put our hands together once more for her. I've hosted program before, so I know what it takes to sit down and interview a professor, a doctor, and Sentaro is somebody when you are conversing with him, you need to be on your toes. And you see, Thelma did this so effortless. You think as easy. You should have been in her shoes. Maybe you would have you been drinking water.
Try to get some advice